Virtual Boys have been playing Nintendo since they were little. These many years of experience have made them experts in the field, or at least they think so. Join them this week as they talk about Waluigi's Hospital of Horrors and other spooky games Nintendo should make. You're listening to the Virtual Boys Podcast, a Nintendo podcast about Nintendo things by Nintensity. This podcast is done by four friends that talk about anything and everything Nintendo. Check out the website at nintensity.com and be sure to follow us on social media. Be sure to subscribe and share the show with your friends. Oh, of course, enjoy the show.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Virtual Boys Podcast, a Nintendo podcast about Nintendo things. This is episode 73 and I'm your host David, and no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike, accompanied with James.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
And Skylar.
The pit, it burns!
And Jordan.
Who dares enter my home?
I
me.
dare.
Your lost long son. Hold me, mother.
This week's episode is our Halloween episode. We all kind of did some spooky, scary stuff for our quotes, I guess, this week. But we're going to do something a little different this week and talk about some of the Nintendo series or other video game series that we think could use some terror, because we like to scare little children. Just kidding. We don't, but I don't know.
Sometimes we don't have a choice.
I know, right? You just have to do it. And it's Halloween time, so you got to scare everybody.
They're asking
I
for
want
it.
to suck their blood, please.
Suck their blood. But before we suck your blood, we'd like to remind you to check out our Patreon page, because these episodes are going up early as a reward for those that support us. Check us out at patreon.com/Nintensity. And if you want to talk about this episode, join our Discord community at ninten.city/Discord. Enough of that stuff. Let's jump on in. So, to celebrate Spoopy Month, we're going to give some series that could use some spooky/terror treatment like Nintendo did with Luigi's Mansion. Why did I put in the notes brief description of Luigi? Did I do that?
Yes.
Luigi!
No, that was
Luigi,
me.
Maybe you meant Luigi's Mansion there.
Okay. Luigi's Mansion, of course, is a game for the GameCube and 3DS with the sequel, where Nintendo decided to take our innocent little brother, Luigi, or Mario's innocent little brother, and throw him in a scary mansion and scare the crap out of him. That's kind of it, right? That's the whole plot.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Ghostbusters meets Mario.
Yeah.
It was an interesting idea.
Yeah.
No,
It's
it really
worked really
was.
well.
And it scared me as a kid. Sure, I got through it, but still, that's probably about as scary as I could get before I ran home. I was already home. Ran to my mother's lap and started crying before she pushed me away and said, "Stop it.
Just
Be a
like
man,
James,
you're a
grow up.
16-year-old."
Before I run to the bathroom, lock the door, and barrel down the hatches.
I'm sure I had many nightmares about that game. Just the jump scares of some of those ghosts. Like, you bang on a cabinet or something and out pops one of those gold ghosts and you're not ready for it and you're just like, blah, 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 and you just kind of just jump a little bit. So,
I
Donkey
can't.
Kong 64 always got me.
Yeah, DK64 kind of had more better atmosphere for.
well, you guys
spooky, I
had
think.
access to N64s more than I did, so...
But with that said, like I said last year in our Luigi's Mansion episode, I don't really get scared in video games, so I might be a bit of a killjoy this episode. Sorry.
Killjoy.
That's okay. There's always someone. There's always someone that, you try to scare and you never do. So that's
true.
our Jordan.
That's very true.
Yeah. So, well, let's just get started with this list. I put down the first game that's in our notes, and this is probably just me saying, give me another Mother game, but I think that it'd be kind of fun to have a Mother game with a lot more horror involved. One of my favorite areas in Earthbound is Threeson, right? That's the haunted one that's got all the ghosts and scary things all around. And I thought that was such a cool vibe for that game. And I mean, the 16-bit thing is really cool too. But there's like the graveyard, there's the possessed circus tent that you have to defeat. I think that they could really like make an RPG style game based on that type of like lighthearted humor, but still with some of those like spooky elements that were in 3-Sin. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I think that could be interesting. I wonder with some of these RPGs how the aesthetic would go. Like, meaning that would you get bored of it being like a haunted kind of a thing or a horror kind of a thing? Then again, there are some games that are just strictly just, scary zombies everywhere. So I don't know. Like, I think, it could work.
But how many of you have played Mother 3?
I have.
You have? The area with the Chimera was pretty intense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was.
Borrowed some elements from horror-style games.
Oh, good point. Yeah, I guess it doesn't have to necessarily be just, zombies and monsters and everything. There are other ways to just scare the crap out of you. Huh. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So even just maybe have a Mother game where you're in bring out more of that Chimera sort of stuff. I don't know how long you could do that, though, for a full game.
That's true.
Maybe just if there was a Mother 4. I don't know. Even then, because we already did it with the Chimera part in Mother 3, just release Mother 3. There, solve the problem.
That's your spooky game.
Mother 3, because it's like a lighthearted game that has so many deep and a lot of dark underlying tones to it. So maybe I was wrong saying that we need another Mother game that's just spooky, because Mother 3 is actually really kind of dark the majority of the game, even though it's got that lighthearted like skin on it for a lot of parts.
Gosh dang it, David, you tricked us all. You tricked us all into supporting Mother 3 again.
It's my job. I gotta keep us like remembering that game so that it'll eventually come. Anyway, so Mother, that's my game, the first game. Let's go to another series.
I was thinking, what game could really capitalize on a horror aspect, and then I was like, nah, none of those are fun. So let's do Zelda. What my idea for what Zelda game would be is, or kind of a scary one, is you would go with a new villain and you'd have him be kind of based on Dracula, kind of, sort of. Maybe after a Keese. I don't know. Work with me here.
Zeldavania.
Kind of like similar gameplay to perhaps a Zelda game, but with the aesthetics and style of perhaps a Castlevania. And so you go into different dungeons that are a part of the minions, or that are the minions of this Keese Dracula, and they could be like werewolves or witches, and because we've definitely had witches before in Zelda games, so I feel like that fits really well. I feel the whole fantasy aspect of Zelda could lend to this legendary monster kind of feel. It would be nothing like Breath of the Wild in an aspect of how big the world is or anything, but it would just be kind of a dungeon crawler, but with scary Zelda aspects thrown in. I can't even count on my hands and toes how many times I've been scared in Zelda, just from some of the spiders and what's the handmaster or the dungeon master, whatever they're called,
wall masters.
Yeah. Oh gosh, those things scare the heck out of me. And even the Twilight Beasts kind of freaked me out when I was a kid. So anyway,
it's just a whole game of those blood-sucking horrors, and the final bat boss is the
mother,
the one from no. Oh. The final bat boss is the guy from Skyward Sword, who you give the gratitude crystals to. He's just gone bad, and you actually have to fight him as a real villain this time.
Yeah, it's an alternate ending to Skyward Sword where you never give him enough, so he remains a demon forever and becomes so determined to become a human that the only way he can become a human is eating the flesh of other humans.
Yes.
Wow.
And so you murder him in cold blood.
You see, this would be great.
I will say that some of my favorite dungeons in Zelda have been kind of more spooky themed, with Shadow Temple from Ocarina of Time or Arbiter's Grounds from Twilight Princess.
Yeah,
and Dead Hand from Ocarina of Time. The first time I saw him as a child, he scared the crap out of me. You know, he's like the ghoul guy that's got the very long neck that creeps over and the hands come out of the ground. Yeah, he scared me.
So I really think, yeah, Zelda could pull it off. I don't know if we really need a full game based on it, but certainly maybe if we were to get like Breath of the Wild sequel, have an entire area the size of the Gerudo Desert in Breath of the Wild be focused more on
with
the afterlife
like the
monsters.
graveyards.
Well, that could be a cool
Redeads
idea.
And pose and stuff. And
I mean, I think we
gosh,
brought
that'd
this
be
up on the
scary.
podcast like a year ago or so. Maybe not, maybe just personal discussions, but there's the whole theory that Bongo Bongo under the well, I mean, I guess in the Shadow Temple, is one of the fallen Sheikah from Ocarina of Time. So maybe like we learn more about those people or whatever in a sequel game, and we
So
get
maybe
more
focus
horrifying Sheikah magic. And
so maybe focus more on the war before Ocarina of Time with
I
where
would
the
love
Sheikah
that.
attack.
I would love that. Oh, I would love that. That would be so good. Give me more Dark Interlopers too, please. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, the Dark Interlopers were pretty like, I don't know, man. I just really like them, and I wanted to hear more about them. But if there's like kind of a scary, spooky side to them, then yeah, sure, let's bring it in. So yeah, that's my thought on Zelda, and I guess I'd be pretty open to it working either way. And actually, now that you bring up the Breath of the Wild, that'd be kind of cool if they were to do an area like that. So make it happen, Nintendo.
Please.
This other one I have an idea for is a game that it because it was scary to me, it took me a long time to get into it, and it's Metroid. Oh my gosh, I don't know how many times I saw gameplay of Metroid Prime. I was just like, no, I can't do it. Those monsters are too scary. I just no. But obviously I overcame that fear, and now I'm playing through more of the Metroid games. But there's still that sort of like isolation and fear that accompanies all Metroid games. Even Other M, in some moments, there were times, because it's me, there were times where when it was where you couldn't really shoot, you're just walking around. There were moments where I was like, is something gonna come up and scare me? Come on, just do it already, and it would scare me. So based off that, I feel like a Fatal Frame game would work extremely well with the Metroid. Now, not being a main line Metroid game, but definitely be a spin-off. But you kind of have like maybe a space station like like Other M, or maybe you have a planet that you explore, but it's all all you have to do for some reason. I don't know what the reason could be. Maybe Samus's suit is malfunctioning. She can only scan things, and the scanning thing tells a story, but it also is very frightening. And I don't know, something along those lines. Sure, it would show a more vulnerable side to Samus, but I don't know. Like, it's not like it's gonna ruin her character if it's just a spin-off game. And I feel like you would get kind of a sci-fi aspect to it, whereas Fatal Frame is mostly set in Japan, I think. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's an idea I had.
Along with that just like gave me the idea. What if they do end up remaking Metroid Fusion one of these days, instead of doing like a perfect remake or whatever with all the story bits and all the hand holding, what if they turn that into like a horror style Metroid game? Like, they have some of those elements in there with the, the virus taking the corpses of the bodies and making them disintegrate, taking them over. You have Samus's suit like roaming the hallways. I mean, they could do some cool things like that with an Other M remake. I mean, of course, a new game would also be great.
You
a
mean
spin-off
Fusion
game.
remake?
Or free? Oh my gosh.
Please don't remake Other M.
We'll talk about that in our Other M episode next week.
Oh no.
I think what you're pretty much going for here, David, is a just a straight up remake of Fusion, where you fix up things, but you bring in this horror element to it. And let's not talk lightly of how scary when Samus suits get taken over, how scary that is, because that's frightening. But they can make it even more so. but I would hope they would do that for just in a remake and not necessarily a horror themed one per se. Like I was saying before, most Metroid games are, scary because it's all about isolation and killing everything before they kill you. So
right, yeah, you seem to have a lot of power, which most protagonists in horror games do not have that sort of power.
Right, and that's
a good
true.
point.
And see, Jordan, I just had to say that I said Other M. It was a Freudian slip because I'm so excited for our Other M episode. I keep thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm compiling
Other
my
M.
thoughts.
You mentioned Other M, and so that means that we already got our Metroid horror game.
Hey, I did say it scared me sometimes.
Indeed.
Cool.
The baby.
Horrible for the wrong reasons.
Horror.
PTSD. It's real.
Cool.
No.
Just don't freeze from your PTSD when Ridley shows up.
No.
Oh
See?
no! Hey, too soon. Too soon. What's not too soon is Super Mario Odyssey, and this got me thinking of, Cappy in particular, because I don't know about you, Cappy kind of looks like a ghost, like a Boo. I'm not sure if that means anything or if Cappy is just a whole nother species of Mario character. But then it got me thinking of how cool would it be to have kind of a Boo game. Because we have Captain Toad, we have the Bowser's minions, and Boo is, Boo is in there. But I think it'd be really cool if we had this game where you're a Boo traversing a world, and maybe it's not so much as it's scary, but it's more like a Nightmare Before Christmas type of everyone is scary but we're adorable kind of a feel. There'd be Dry Bones and Swoops and all sorts of other scary characters, and they're all here together in this world. I'm not sure how they'd interact or what kind of game it'd be, but anyway.
Would you interact with it kind of like the way in Mario Galaxy where you have the Boo mushroom and you float around like the Boo?
Yeah,
you go through walls and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could have kind of a puzzle / adventure game, similar to Captain Toad, but you're a Boo.
Yeah.
And maybe you control. If I'm remembering right, with Mario Galaxy, the controls were a little floaty, correct?
Yeah, because
you're a Boo, but that makes sense. But maybe it could be a little more or comfortable to control, like kind of how Mario controls, but obviously with no jumping. But anyway, but besides that, I think you bring a good point, like being able to go through walls and maybe solve puzzles. I think, I don't know, that could present some interesting game possibilities. Kind of how Yoshi Woolly World or something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
No, you can't drink. Or you shouldn't drink. I mean, you can drink if you want to. That's up to you. That's your personal choice. Personal choice. Just don't drink and drive.
Okay. I won't.
Or play video games and drive.
What's the next series?
I'll go ahead and take this one too. So, Pokemon Haunted Island Snap. It sounds really ridiculous, but hear me out. They would never do this because it's Pokemon Snap. So I know this is very far-fetched, and I meant to do that. Pun intended. But I think it'd be really cool because I guess this kind of comes back to Fatal Frame, but just having spooky things come out and scare you, and there's a lot of ghost Pokemon and other kind of scary kind of Pokemon, that it'd be fun to have a a kind of Halloween themed Snap game. Now, maybe not the whole game. Maybe it would be just one area, but
just one area. Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, if it's just one area, then that'd be awesome. But if they were to do a whole game, you can have different areas, like the typical creepy mansion, the theme park, hospital, I don't know, school, typical places.
School.
Yeah, that, man.
Super spoopy school.
Super spoopy school with spoopytons. Anyway, so it maybe not the whole island, because that could run out quick, but I would love for them to have a section that is just straight up ghost Pokemon, and they're just trying to scare you left and right. And it can be like dorky, like Gengar and Haunter and Ghastly. You know how I don't know if you ever watched the anime when like in the first 2-3 seasons they had like their little gang, Gengar, Haunter and Ghastly. They were just a bunch of tricksters or whatever. I think it'd be hilarious if they were throughout the whole time just doing all these sort of silly things. And
Gengar eats your soul.
Yeah, it'd be a great time.
At the end, yeah. That's the finale.
As you ride into his mouth on the 02.
Welcome back.
At the 02 Pokemon Haunted Snap roller coaster ride.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That'd be so fun. I mean, we got a taste of what that would be like with Pokemon Sun and Moon. There's that whole challenge
That's
where you
right.
take pictures of the ghosts.
Exactly. So I thank you for bringing that up, because that was one of the reasons why I thought of this, is because of that trial. So that kind of worked. So I wouldn't mind seeing that again.
I'd like that. I think that'd be very fun. I guess my game is next on our list, and that's just Paper Mario Always in Haunted Mansions. That was kind of a joke, but some of my favorite levels in the Paper Mario games are in those haunted mansions. Like the whole chapter with Dupless in this like kind of spooky Twilight Town area is one of my favorite moments of the whole game, because you get stripped of your identity as Mario and you have to like go through this kind of like spooky mansion and spooky town and figure out what's really going on. And I really love that kind of stuff. I also really love the mansion in the original Paper Mario. Lots of really fun stuff there. Miss Bo is an awesome character and all that.
Yeah.
But since they're like some of my favorite areas in the game, I mean, of course, I love those games as they are, but it'd be kind of fun to see more of that return to Paper Mario. I haven't played Color Splash, but I don't think there's anything like that in Color Splash, is there?
There's a mansion.
There's a haunted hotel.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a hotel?
It's a hotel, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Not as scary, though.
My only problem with the 1,000-Year Door place is that you just backtrack the adventure. That's basically all that mission
You go
is.
back and forth like 6 times, basically.
Yeah.
That one mission, or that one star in particular, was just a pain to
yeah.
go back and forth.
Yeah, it's one of the slower moments.
Yeah, and I think the level would have been better if they had made it larger. Like not requiring as much backtracking, like if they'd added more unique rooms and areas to the place, they could have avoided that backtracking.
Although
Yeah.
I will say that the twist in the middle of that level, like, I won't go into it because I don't think anybody should be spoiled with that, but I don't know, as a kid, it was like, holy cow, we're not done here? Like,
Yeah, I was stuck on that screen for like 5 minutes because I didn't know what to do. I just kept watching it. I'm like, is something going to happen?
right.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. But
That was really
anyway,
creative. That is really creative what they did.
Yeah.
But going off that, I think they could do a game where it's just haunted mansions. You know why? Because they'd make a Paper Luigi haunted mansion.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So,
Paper Luigi's Mansion.
right, Paper Luigi. Yeah, exactly. And instead of just one mansion, it would take After Dark Moon, and you'd be able to go to different mansions. But there could be a lot of there. Would it be an RPG? I don't know. I could see me doing
Nintendo
either.
seems to not like those anymore.
Yeah, I guess so.
For Paper Mario.
So yeah, maybe it would be better just to say, yeah, it's going to be one of those. It's a typical Luigi Mansion game. It's just paper. But hey, that'd be great. It can have the Paper Mario humor, but with the gameplay of Luigi's Mansion. Anyway, sorry.
I mean, No, it's fine, because I also want to say, and this is stepping away from the whole spooky theme, when are we going to get the Paper Luigi 1,000-Year Door game? That runs parallel to 1,000-Year Door, where you're actually Luigi and you go on those crazy adventures.
Funny. No joke.
Those stories are so funny. I just want to play them.
Probably never, since they don't even think that people like stories in their Paper Mario games anymore.
Yeah.
They don't even think, wait, people like 1,000-Year Door? What? Since when?
It's a classic.
Oh,
Anyway.
I don't know. Maybe since the game came out? Anyway.
Paper Luigi Mansion.
I think another game that could potentially benefit from a different style would be Fire Emblem. And I know you don't want to venture too off, otherwise people will freak out. But hear me out. Zombie waifus. I'm just kidding.
I'm in. James, tell me all about it.
Okay, so you see, you have 4 different styles of waifu you can have. A furry waifu, but they're either like saber tooth or werewolf kind of a thing.
Oh, okay.
Zombie
perfect.
waifu, vampire
All right.
waifu, and witch waifu. And
Which
I'm missing
waifu
zombie.
number
Alright,
one?
so we have
What am I
5 is zombie.
listening to?
5 is zombie. Yeah. Oh no, did I already do zombie? Maybe I did. Anyway, so no, what I'm really thinking is a kind of a dungeon crawling Resident Evil kind of spin-off with Fire Emblem. I'm not saying guns or anything. That just be stupid. But maybe since the undead seems to be a common sort of enemy in Fire Emblem games as of late, maybe bring in some more undeads, but a little more character variety. I mean, there's some scary characters in Fire Emblem Echoes as well. And some of those gargoyles, like when you first see them, like, holy cow, that's scary, that's spoopy. And also those dungeons can be a little creepy, but they kind of get boring after a while. So if they can potentially get a lot of interesting dungeon themes and areas, I could see them having a game like that. It would never happen, but
It probably wouldn't, but I think it'd be cool. Dungeon crawling is a really interesting element that they bring into Echoes, and so having a spooky element to that would be really fun. What's next?
I don't know if I was half joking with this one, but Waluigi Haunted Hospital. Let's go. And so this, I had a couple ideas, and maybe when I go in the second one, Skylar can take over because his next point is a little similar to this one. But the first idea I had was it's a haunted hospital, and the Waluigi, he's trying to sue somebody, and so he goes into the hospital, but he realizes he can't get any service, and so he's walking. So he's talking to a lot of the people, and they mistake him for a doctor, and so he ends up being the caretaker of this hospital that he finds out is haunted. And so he has to fix all the hospital's terrible mistakes, and I mean terrible, like, people dying left and right, and he has to cover them up. And anyway, it would be pretty amazing, and to find out who's pulling the strings behind the whole haunted hospital. So anyway, that's my first idea.
Are you telling me that this game is the next in the Dr. Mario series?
Yes.
Are you telling me that when I have to heal people as Waluigi, I'm going to mess up a game of Dr. Mario every time I'm trying to administer medicine?
That could be an interesting mini game. And I kind of am balancing on, does Waluigi want to sabotage? But perhaps this could be a game where you decide, do you want to put the hospital down into the ground, or do you want to figure out who's trying to sabotage the hospital? So, it's up to the player.
Renegade Waluigi and Paragon Waluigi.
Oh, this is a great game. I want it.
Dr. Mario.
I'd buy it.
I'd buy it no matter how bad it was.
Okay, but wait, is this going to be a separate game, or is this the Waluigi content we were talking about last week for Super Mario Odyssey?
No, I don't know,
This
man.
would have to be its own game. It's a new game series. It'll get him into
it's
Smash Bros. This way.
Look at Waluigi in there for sure. For sure.
Oh man, I hope everybody and their dog hears about this so that we can spread the word.
Oh my gosh. Time to pitch this idea. Someone make a mock-up of it for Nintendo. Let's do it.
We can do
Let's
it.
do this.
So the second choice, it would be Waluigi is running the hospital from the very beginning, and you're this other character going through it. But I want Skylar to take it from here with his idea, because it's kind of similar.
Well, yeah, I like your idea a lot, though, James. It's a brilliant idea. But yeah, if Waluigi was running the hospital from the beginning, and then someone has to enter in and see all of the terrible things Waluigi's doing to his patients,
Yes,
or like
yes.
uncovering the truth behind Waluigi and his mysterious tacos in the cafeteria that are slowly turning people into monsters, a la Mario and Luigi Superstar
Yeah,
Saga.
that'd be great.
And you take control of this character, and you have to uncover secrets while dodging Waluigi's piercing glare, going through the place, sneaking around, all like Metal Gear style, until you finally confront him at the end.
I know your secrets.
And you sue Waluigi instead. After you take him down, of course, throw him off the building or whatever.
That'd be great. Only cheaters lose.
But yes, you just see all these monsters coming to life because of Waluigi's terrible hospital practices.
That'd be
You
great.
have to adventure through and fight them and avoid them.
Maybe you have to save like some of the, patients or doctors who are still, okay and sane or whatever. But they're slowly.
Yep.
But you know what would be great if these monsters have like Waluigi's nose and mustache. That'd be perfect.
Waluigi's mustache.
Unless you were already thinking of
And then,
that.
But what game wouldn't be?
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it'd be perfect. But then, of course, there'd be the one standard character who you take through the whole game with you. Turns out they were infected at the beginning. Turns into a monster on you at the last second. Tries to eat your brains out, and you got to kill your best friend.
What a lovely
dark.
Mario game.
Yeah,
Wow.
that got really dark.
Because this is Waluigi Silent Hill Hospital.
Okay.
Nintendo wants to have their properties, have crossover with third-party games. So hey,
Why not?
There you
Waluigi
go.
Silent Hill, here we go, right?
And they could take that. I think, on a serious note, I think they could take this in a E10 up kind of range, if they really wanted to.
Waluigi's an E10 up kind of guy.
But it'd be hilarious if it was a little, it goes a little farther and it's darker and bloodier, I guess. But anyway, again, another thing that would probably never happen, but it's just such a good idea that you would think it could.
It probably won't happen.
But one day,
It'll happen. We'll get it.
in my dreams. So that's my Waluigi.
Cool. Who's got the next game?
So the next one, I didn't really have a whole lot of ideas, so I was just like, 2D Mario game focusing on Boo Mansion. I mean, we got one focusing on coins, so why not, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Clearly we can do anything. And so it'd just be a whole bunch of Boo Mansions with secret doors going all over the place and a complete disaster trying to figure out where you need to go.
Is it all one giant level?
No,
Okay.
I was joking about that before the recording that Skylar mentioned. Mario's gone mixing, and we really don't want to have anything closely similar to that.
Are you
Fair
sure? That was pretty horrifying. This is our horror episode. Just
I
kidding.
don't want to kill anyone.
Yeah, hey, I've already done plenty of killing
Yeah.
Yes.
in my previous games.
Waluigi comes up and kill you with my nose.
Oh my gosh! But I like the idea. I think if you look at Luigi's Mansion, that's all kind of one theme in a sense, but there's still different areas. So perhaps something like that could work with a platforming 2D Mario game.
I don't know. We haven't gotten too many Boo Mansion type levels in the recent past. I know we've had a couple in New Super Mario Bros. But the game that I can think of that has the most of them is definitely Super Mario World.
There are a ton in Galaxy. In Galaxy
Well,
2.
that's true.
Galaxy
but I mean
2,
in 2D Mario platformers.
I thought there
There's
was
a whole
quite a few in the New Super Mario Bros. Series. There was at least one in each world, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's true.
In New Super Mario Brothers U, they have the whole Boo's Forest again.
Oh, that's right. I forget about
You just
that.
forgot
'cause
about it because
I
it was
don't
a bad
have
game.
a Wii U. The Wii U that I've played on is either Skylar's or the one that's at my house that I haven't played on at all. So, sorry. Yeah,
Well,
it's fine.
it was the Wii U.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We're forgetting about that slowly.
That's too scary.
It's becoming a distant memory.
Oh no.
Just kidding.
There
Yeah.
was good stuff, right?
Oh no, there was.
Right?
There was Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not alone.
HD games.
Yes.
Cool.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Crypt of the Necrodancer,
Nope.
but it's this really awesome rhythm roguelike game with tons of spooky, scary skeletons, all that kind of stuff. The music is so good. So you have to keep the beat to the music while you go to this roguelike. You have to move on the beat, attack on the beat through this dungeon, which is really cool. But I was thinking of something like that with all the hip techno stuff, but with like Simon Belmont, the characters that Konami has created in Castlevania.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I would love to see that come back, and Konami is always like, your series are stale, nobody likes us anymore, so maybe kind of like bring some breath of fresh air into the series, bring some new life. Just like something upbeat and pumping, but at the same time like cutting down enemies to the beat while you're moving through the dungeon, and maybe upgrade the graphics and stuff to make it a little bit more high budget. I think that would be awesome.
That would be cool.
What if we take it a step further, and it's a mashup, or maybe it follows Castlevania gameplay, but what if it like takes from famous scary video game franchises or series and puts these characters in the game, kind of an all-star kind of a cast, and maybe they don't play all differently, but some of them do, or I don't know, like maybe mix it up.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that would be really funny. Like, I'd love to see some Resident Evil characters start dancing like that, and then kind of like, freaking like Chris Redfield over there, the big guy, just like chopping down fools. I mean, that would be cool. Maybe Leon, whatever. That would be pretty interesting. Just something to get, some more like lighthearted, but still like up-tempo, spooky themed game. Like that. I think it'd be really cool. Another idea I had was a Duck Hunt Vampire Bat edition. So I don't know. Maybe you take like silver bullets or like silver crossbows or whatever, and just like snipe down vampire bats as they fly away. And you have to protect your neighborhood. And the dog is actually their leader this time, and he has a blood-curdling laugh that hurts you more and more when you miss the vampire bats. It's like the more bats you miss, the more power the dog has, and the more your life gauge goes down.
So there's actually a difficulty to this. I'm just kidding.
So it's so you're maybe the bats are more like the different variant of vampire bats, where one single vampire turns into like 100 bats or something, and so these bats are reconverging on the Duck Hunt dog to like give him power, and that's why his laugh hurts you more and more as you miss the vampire bats, right?
Yeah, they're turning the dog into the vampire.
Yeah.
He's the vampire god.
I'd like that. That'd be pretty fun. Wow.
Be a good way to bring Duck Hunt back in, Halloween feel, Just like end up turning the favorite dog, or the despised dog, whoever you may be, into the main villain.
Real quick,
Great.
On a kind of trying to fit this in, maybe what if Duck Hunt were to come back in a way that it took kind of different variations of the original Duck Hunt game, and maybe this is one of them, but then you have like another one that's it's a different theme, but there's a different objective and things like that. What if there was different mini games that had different objectives?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so maybe that could be one of them. Anyway, just throwing it out there.
Cool. Well, that's all we have on our list. Is there anything else that we need to add to this spooky, scary list?
I can't think of
I don't
it.
think
We've
so.
pretty
I
much
think-
exhausted a lot of ideas.
A lot of my creative juices are just kind of like so.
It's gone.
But if people have ideas, please let us know. Comment, send us an email or whatever.
Yeah, well, we'll start compiling them for next year's Halloween episode.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say spooky Santa game, but we got Santa 06.
This is plenty scary enough.
But I really like how some of these games went from being like terror / spooky games into like comedies with spooky themes. But
Well, it's kind of hard to make Nintendo games not comedies.
Yeah.
when you're trying to
That's true.
do spooky.
Yeah, and I don't think
true.
I'd want, like, for example, a Boo game that is, horror. I don't know if I like that. I think it'd be much more appealing if it was a kind of a adorable, adorable gameplay like Captain Toad, except it just has a spooky theme to it, or should I say spoopy?
So that's the Halloween stuff for this year's Halloween episode. Thanks for listening to that. We're not done with the episode. I just thought I'd let you know that we're done with that segment. Hey everybody, it's David, hopping in the middle of the episode, just like I normally do, to just give you a few reminders. First and foremost, I want to say thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Virtual Boys podcast. It means a lot for people to listen to our podcast. It's one of the reasons why we continue to do this. If you want to help support the show, be sure to check out our Patreon page. I know that we talk about this a lot, but it's the most direct way that you can help us keep the show alive. By going to patreon.com/Nintensity, you can choose to pledge a certain amount of money per month. Anything that you could spare is absolutely 100% welcome, and you'll get some cool rewards. We're working on exactly what those are as we grow larger and larger, but you'll at least have the satisfaction that you were one of the first to help support us. I'd also like to divert your attention to Nintensity.com. We're posting a lot of news, all the really cool stuff that's happening with Nintendo, as well as writing a ton of reviews for games that are coming out and that have come out. Be sure to check those out and share those with your friends as well. I'd also like to remind you about our YouTube page. It's a little tricky to get there because we don't have an official URL on YouTube, but go to nintendo.city/YouTube to get directly to our channel. We're uploading some really cool stuff there. All of these episodes are going up there if you need another way to share this with your friends or to listen to the podcast. And you can also check out some of the videos that James has been doing. He's been doing Nintensity Weekly News, which is a news series where he talks about 5 of the biggest news things from each week. He's also been working on some review videos, and he's worked on a really cool Nintensity Talk video about the Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch. You should definitely check those out. Of course, you can always follow us on social media. It's just Nintensity on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and Instagram even. We like to post all of our news and articles and videos on those, so if you check us out on there, you'll never get left behind. That's pretty much all I've got this week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast again. Please be sure to share with your friends. And if you wouldn't mind heading over to iTunes and leaving us a review, also on Stitcher, it's one of the easiest ways to help people find our podcast, and it only takes a few seconds. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and we'll let you get back to the episode. All right, well, let's move on to our next segment of the podcast. This is the What We've Played This Week segment. Again, we're still workshopping the name. We totally forgot to workshop it this week, but we'll keep working on it.
Don't tell them, man. I'm
sorry. Oh, crap, that was top secret. Well, I'll go ahead and go first on what I've been playing this week. The other day, I got a copy of Count Lucanor from... what's the name of the developer? Oh my gosh, I just had it pulled up. Let me switch tabs. Switching. From Ratalaika Games / Baroque Decay. They sent us a review copy, and I've been playing it a little bit, and it's terrifying me. It's perfect for the Halloween season, and it came out today as of this recording, which is kind of cool. So if you want like 16/32/ kind of in between ish type exploration game that's got a lot of elements from Zelda and exploration and puzzle solving stuff, you should probably pick it up. Unless you're like me and you're terrified of terror games and you can't handle a monster sneaking up on you, it is a terror game. It's meant to be scary. In fact, while I was playing through it, it reminded me of a game called Clock Tower. I think JonTron did a video on that a while ago. It's pretty funny. It's got like the same type of vibe to it, where you're in like a building most of the time.
Scissorman!
And yeah, Scissorman. No, there's no Scissorman, but there are monsters, and they do chase you around, and it's pretty scary. I think I'm about halfway through based on the objectives I know I have to get done, but I haven't looked at any of the end game stuff to know if that's actually how far I am. And it's scary, and I'm going to try and finish it. It's my Halloween little game.
Is it enjoyable? You like it?
Yes, it's actually a lot of fun, and there's lots of really cool secrets around the castle. You discover some like mysteries of what's actually happening. You're a 10-year-old boy, so you have no idea what's going on at first, and you like slowly start picking up the pieces as you explore. The characters that you do meet are actually pretty endearing and really fun, and it's definitely worth like helping them at the beginning of the game, unless you want to give yourself a challenge. The thing that makes it really kind of scary for me is the game is pitch black except for like a couple of areas, and you only hold a candle, and the candle lights up maybe about 25% of your screen. And you can place candles down around the place to lighten the path or whatever, but it makes it really hard to want to like continue exploring in a room, especially when you hear heavy breathing or monster sounds. It's like, I am going to literally be 4 feet away from that monster when I can see it. So it gives a little bit of tension to that. I am really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. The visuals are really, really cool. You know, it reminds me a lot of Undertale in the overworld stuff, but the cutscenes and the character art as you're talking to them, that's all like, you know, high quality. I guess the term is like 32-bit pixel art, where it's beyond what the 16-bit it was capable of. It's really pretty. Very, very well done. I'm not going to give it a review score yet. I haven't finished it.
Would you say it's worth the $13.49 though?
Actually, yes. There are different things that you can do. There's a bunch of different decisions that you can make to challenge yourself. I don't really have a full answer for if it's worth the $14 because I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know exactly how long the game is. But the amount of time and effort put into how the game looks, how it feels, the sound design, and the atmosphere, bringing the horror genre of this type back. Yeah, I think it is worth it as of right now. But of course, my thoughts aren't final yet.
Fair enough.
I'm really liking it. It's really fun. I also wanted to bring up Splatfest. That was great fun.
Yeah.
James talked about in the Nintendo City Weekly News episode that came out today that vampires did indeed win. That was you did that exact laugh in the video too.
Food chain.
But yeah, I've been playing quite a bit of Splatoon 2. It's one of my wind down games that I play at night when I don't want to watch TV. I've been getting really good with the L3 nozzle nose weapon. It's just really fun to be able to mash the trigger button instead of just holding it down and killing things. Plus, the baller special is so fun when you can get behind enemy lines and they don't see you coming and you kill 3 of them at once or 4 of them at once. It's such a good feeling. Anyway, I love Splatoon 2. It's one of my favorite games of all time, probably. I've logged almost as many hours into that game as I have Zelda. I think I'm at like 140, and Zelda I was at like 160. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting
close.
there. That's what I've been up to this week.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I've been up to, speaking of werewolves, not necessarily vampires, but speaking of werewolves, I got a review copy of Wolverblade from Darwin Media, and I really enjoyed this game. This was a lot of fun. Kind of gory, sure. I'm still not sold on why it has a rated M tag on it. I've seen a lot of gory rated T games, and this one it's cartoon. Like I don't know. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. Played it with a buddy of mine. We went through, played 2-player. It was a lot of fun. Just cutting people down, grabbing their arms, using their arms to bash other people over the head with them. That was fun. And then, turning werewolves, use the power of the Wolver to call wolves to attack the Romans who are invading.
Oh, look at all that blood.
Dude, it's a lot of, the bosses were unique. The bosses were hard. It was fun. It was a decent challenge. If you love hack and slash 2-player beat 'em ups, this game you pick it up. It's really good. It's got a lot of history behind the game too. There's a whole gallery full of historical facts and just information on what the items you're picking up are, who you are fighting, who you're playing as. Tons and tons and tons of story detail if you're a huge story person.
Cool.
It's great. It just looks to me like the old Anglo-Saxon kind of style. It's really cool. So pick it up if you like 2D games. You won't be disappointed. The main campaign's a little short, but there's a lot more content than just the main campaign.
It makes me wonder if they gave the M rated just to try to sell it to people. I don't know. Sometimes that's a thing.
That's what they did to Halo, the very first Halo.
That is what they did to Halo, yes.
Yeah, which I remember playing it when I was younger. I was like, why is this rated M? Doesn't make any sense. And that's how my voice sounded, by the way.
And then I also got a review copy of Rogue Trooper Redux from Rebellion Interact. This game is buggy as heck. Like, the game itself could be loads of fun, but there are so many bugs and glitches. It just
what is this game? What do you do?
Okay, so Rogue Trooper Redux is a third-person shooter game. You go through levels solving couple just environment puzzles while taking down tons of waves of enemies.
So kind of like Mass Effect, kind of, but not really.
Yeah, it came out in 2006 originally. Mass Effect, the original, came out in 2007, so about the same era. Mm-hmm. But sometimes in this game they have climbing segments where you climb up walls to get over hurdles and things. There are a couple walls that glitch and say you can climb up them. Do not hit the A button. when you come to these glitchy walls, it'll shoot you straight through the floor and you die. So,
oh my word.
So, I don't know if that was they just missed that, they didn't bother fixing it or what, but it happens. The gameplay itself, the gun switching is really slow, which is kind of unfortunate because every enemy in this game can be taken out better with a different weapon set. And just the amount of enemies on the screen, you have to be constantly switching weapons, and sometimes you miss the weapon, you have to cycle all the way through again before you get to the weapon, get back to the weapon. The upgrade system was a good idea, but it kind of takes you out of the game. So you get salvage when you kill people, and you pick up the salvage, and then you can use it to make bullets, make weapons, upgrade your gear, that kind of stuff. But you have to enter the pause menu to do that.
Man.
So every time you kill 3 people, you constantly be going back to the pause menu to build new items. And it kind of just takes you out of the experience. It was a good idea. The salvage is fun. Loot hoarding is a good mechanic in most games. Mm-hmm. But when it takes you out of the game, it's kind of a problem. Collecting things is kind of weird. And I got lost a lot in the game. So, you have the whole map out displayed before you, pretty much. And you have to find the one pixel on the screen in this whole map that moves the plot along. So I would just run around for minutes. There's no quest marker, nothing to tell you where to go. It's just go find it, whatever, great. So I'd be running around forever, and then I finally find this little speck or this seemingly small switch that kind of blends in with the environment, and that's what would be the thing to help you progress. It would take me 30 minutes sometimes. The plot's kind of weird. It doesn't make too much sense to me. Besides, you're this blue genetic guy that these people made, and now these other people hate the blue people, so they want to kill them all. And that's pretty much the story of the game. So it's hate crimes against blue people, and they come and kill the blue people. Visuals have been redone; they're HD now, which is pretty nice. They look pretty good. It's just everything glitches into each other, and I kept getting stuck on objects. It's I would try to go around the corner, and I get stuck on the wall. or like I would get stuck on this little rock that was underneath my feet or something. The sound design is all right. Every time I re-entered the game, though, it would blast. And then there was a home screen glitch with the Switch, meaning like I would press the home screen button and then re-enter the game, I'd be dead. Or if there was like a cutscene, then the cutscene would be over and I would be dead. So like the game would play itself in the background of the Switch, and it wouldn't pause.
Huh.
It's a weird glitch. I don't know how many other games do that.
That is really weird.
So if they can take a look at that, that would be really great, because people who play this game come back to it and just they're in a really difficult section and suddenly they die and they have to restart at the checkpoint. It can be really frustrating.
Jeez.
But
that is so frustrating.
There were some fun moments, but the bad just outweighs the good for the most part. Like there's too many glitches. The game stops you from playing itself sometimes. It's kind of frustrating. You have to fight the game to play it.
You know that home screen glitch sounds worse. I mean, it is worse than the Sonic Mania one.
Yeah, I mean the Sonic Mania one, it would take a little bit, but you would go to the pause menu and it would be paused.
Right. This one is just, jeez.
I never knew a game to play itself while I'm not there. I'm gonna have it paused. It's kind of funny. Rogue Trooper Redux, I can't really recommend it. I probably would have played through it if it had been, a little again, if it had been a little bit better. This one's also short. It's like 5-6 hours.
Huh.
So, not really worth the $25 price tag in my opinion. That's kind of pricey for this game. And then the final game I've been playing, I just played it in a short sitting, was Rhythm Heaven Fever.
Great game. Fantastic game. I remember when you first got that game.
And like, I don't know, man. I'm like, come on, dude.
I was so hesitant on it. Oh my gosh. I was like, it's not going to be that good. And then you started playing it, and I was hooked after like the second level. I was like, seesaws? Yeah, baby.
That's a good seesaw.
That's a good seesaw.
But yeah, I had everybody in the room playing it after I started booting it up, and I beat through the main campaign again. It took me like an hour. It was a lot of fun.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it's a fun little game to run through again.
Absolutely. Cool.
And that's what I've been doing.
How about you, James?
Well, a lot of my time has been making videos, and I'm trying to put out this video about Zelda. I wanted to get it out this week, but I just got so swamped at work that I don't know if we'll be able to get it out this week, but hopefully next week. Anyway, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to play. I finished the Yono and the Celestial Elephants and wrote up that review, and I have to say, I went back to Earth Atlantis, and I've reached a point where I just can't play it anymore. I feel bad, but one, my skill level is just not there, and two, it's not that fun. I'm not enjoying myself whatsoever, because every time I get killed by a boss, I have to do the whole thing over again and get all the power-ups, and it's not friendly whatsoever when you die. So that's my thing. So I won't be able to. I mean, I could give a review, but I haven't finished the game, so I don't know if you would necessarily want that. Anyway,
I will resonate what James has said. Even as I haven't had that much difficulty with the difficulty, but it's still just not even fun, even as a hard game at all. The punishment, it's punishing without the reward,
right?
Which is kind of what you need for this kind of game. You need something that, so long as you've made progress, you get to have that progress to allow you to keep pushing forward. And that's how roguelikes tend to do this sort of thing, where even though you died, your last character earned some new item or something that you can use. And this game, it's just you die, you start over, then you have to spend 10-15 minutes just to get back to the point that you're at. And it just kind of becomes unnecessary padding at that point.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. And, it has a nice style to it, art style, although it does get a little old after a while. I like I like the different enemies and everything, but it's just, the constant dying and the no reward. There's like, well, why? I mean, yeah, I guess I could try to beat all the bosses, but I don't know, like
I said last week, the game has a good foundation. They just didn't make a game out of it. They made the tools to like make something. It's just they never delivered. It feels like the bosses are cool. Getting to the bosses is not fun.
Well,
and the art
there are
design
some
is
good bosses.
fun, but yeah,
there's some
I like
bosses
the
that are
bosses.
kind of...
The bosses are fun. It's just the act of getting to the bosses is more of a chore than anything.
That's true. That's very true. There's not much exploration there. There's no more like excitement per se. I guess it is a little bit of a, when a new area opens after you beat a boss, it's like, oh cool, so you go through there, but it's just more of the same thing. I mean, there's some little, you know, oh, this is an old building you're going through, or there's a school bus here, or I don't know, like, I guess there's some minor things, but it's mostly just more of the same. And then the characters get lightning surrounded them. Ooh, they become electric. Ooh. Sorry, I sound like I'm mocking at the game, and I shouldn't. Like, they've put time into that. I guess I'm just not the correct audience for it. Maybe Jordan and I will put a review together with a caveat. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and I actually, on my train rides to work, I've been playing Breath of the Wild. Actually, I decided to pick up Master Mode. It's hard, and it's fun for a person like me, because I get to decide, okay, am I gonna actually fight this, or am I gonna run here? Like, just like, nope, I'm just gonna save that for later, or I'm just not gonna do it. It instead of just like going head into everything and not worrying about dying. I mean, I still had that worry in the without Master Mode, but with Master Mode, that's just more on my mind, and I have to constantly be saving, because I know, like, one hit and I'm dead, kind of a mentality in the very beginning. So I'm not really enjoying it. It's funny playing on the train, because there would just be moments that are just like, oh, dang it, or like just frustrating, and I wonder if the people around me are just like uncomfortable with how intense I'm getting or something like that. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, they can suck it up. I mean, there's worse things people do on the train anyway. So whatever.
Yeah,
that's all I've been doing. Oh, and I guess
cool.
a little bit of Super Metroid, but not much.
How about you, Jordan? Take us home.
So I finished A Hat in Time, and
Nice.
the game was phenomenal. 9 out of 10. Brilliant. Probably one of the best 3D platformers to come out in a long time. I talked about it quite a bit last week. The latter half is even better than the first half. So
awesome.
It's just absolutely hilarious. They even have a horror mission in there, just one mission, and that one mission is probably a better horror game than many horror games I've played, just for the one mission.
Well, then you haven't played Waluigi Hospital. Haunted Hospital. Patent pending.
It does get pretty meta at the end, which I enjoy meta jokes, so that's great. I know some people don't.
Meta is one of my favorite forms of humor in any sort of media.
Well, then great. You'll really like one of the bosses in the game.
Awesome.
Or two of them. The final boss, they get pretty meta at the end.
It's hit or miss for me. But anyway, go ahead.
So
for the meta thing.
Fabulous game. If you're on the fence, just go get it. Just go play it. If you just do not plan to ever touch it, at least go and watch someone play through Murder on the AliExpress.
Okay.
Just so you understand like what the game is and kind of how silly it can get.
I've seen gameplay from like a couple streamers. Like I saw some of the Mafia World area or Mafia Town, whatever, and then I saw some of the movie studio one. And I was already like sold on it. However, I just don't have a machine to play the game, so I'm hoping they bring it to the Switch. If they just bring it to PS4, then maybe I'll just play it on the PS4 because it needs to be played.
And I think Skylar would really enjoy the soundtrack too. The main theme's also made by Grant Kirkhope, and it's great. It sounds a lot better than what he did for Ukulele.
Hey, he didn't do. Like, he only did like a couple tracks, and then they couldn't afford him anymore.
Well, he only did a couple tracks in this game too, but I believe
no.
he did the main
That's what I
theme.
mean in this game.
Yeah.
They paid for a couple tracks, and then they couldn't pay him anymore to do more music. So.
Yeah, and the other composer for the rest of the game is phenomenal too. Like, some of the music is absolutely amazing.
That's
In
good.
Hat in Time.
You know me, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, maybe I'll send some to you so you can see it, Skylar, or something. Or I don't know if you want to. But anyway.
I'd be down.
Against my better judgment, I picked up Stardew Valley for the Switch. I say that because I have a serious problem with addiction to these sort of games. I have no idea how many hours I've thrown away to Animal Crossing, Minecraft, or Harvest Moon in the past. And Stardew Valley, having bought it 2 days ago, I've already logged in 25 hours.
Holy cow!
So,
Yeah, man, it's real.
It's not healthy for me.
I don't think it's healthy for most people.
Just one more harvest. Just one more.
Yeah, it's like,
my
well, the
gosh.
game's so easy just to be like, okay, next day, okay, great. Okay, next day, I'll go to bed after this day. Oh wait, no, it's next day. I gotta get my upgraded hoe. So, like, I don't know.
Upgraded hoe.
That's how I always feel. Yeah, you know, to till the earth.
Ah,
That kind.
Come on, James. I'm
dirty hoe.
Spends almost his days in the sand.
All right.
That was a Cat in the Hat reference, by the way.
Oh my.
Okay.
So, I enjoy it. I like it. I just wish I could have my life back.
Just put it down.
It's
put it down.
well, even when I put it down, I just end up spending hours on the wiki trying to like learn how to
do
power
stuff.
game,
Yeah,
how to power
yeah.
game the whole thing.
I need to
I had
grab
dreams
it.
about that game.
I did too.
Like-
last night.
Like I was dreaming. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm farming in my sleep. No.
It never escapes you.
Nope.
So, good game. Get it if you have a lot of spare time. Otherwise, stay away from it. It's an addiction.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Stardew and Ominous.
I've picked up Animal Crossing again, so maybe I should stay away from Stardew Valley. Otherwise, I'll have two games that I'm playing a lot.
I'm really excited for when they add multiplayer into Stardew Valley, though,
Yeah.
which apparently comes out Q1 2018, according to just what I've heard online. So
We can look forward to that.
it'll be great.
Well, I guess that does it for us this week. Before we end, I'd just like to say thank you to you, lovely listener. You, our lovely listener. You, our lovely listener. Just kidding. I'll stop. For joining us this episode. 3 times for emphasis in different accent and patterns. Your support means a ton. Thanks so much.
You know, this is the spooky type of year, so you gotta go into Skytar's SoundCloud and listen to some of his spooky tracks. I know I mentioned the Booze Merry-Go-Round before, but I think there's another one that's kind of a spoopy one, so I don't remember what it's called. But please go for it and just check it out and listen to a few of them.
Yeah. Skylar actually did a remixed version last year of our theme song / intro song for this podcast, and it's pretty cool, pretty spooky, so I'm pretty sure I've put this in the episode. I don't know. I do that after we record. Anyway.
Yeah, one of the spooky tracks I liked that I made a little while ago was Tricky Steps. It was about a year ago.
Okay.
It features like a French horn solo in the middle, but there's lots of pads and like ambiance and kind of stuff. It's really cool.
I have to go back and listen to it.
And that's at soundcloud.com/Skytar. The link's in the description.
And I'd like to shout out to our patrons, Chris and Chase. Your support means a ton. If you want to join them, go to patreon.com/NintenCity. Remember, the episodes go up early as a reward for those that support us.
And I'd like to invite you to join our Discord community. We're trying to set up a fun place for people to visit and hang out. Head to nintendo.city/discord to join us today, Mac.
And thanks for tuning in to the Virtual Boys podcast this week. Don't forget to subscribe and rate us on iTunes. We'd also like to remind you to check out our website at nintendcity.com, where you can find news, show notes, and so much more. This week's show notes will be available at nintendo.city/EP73. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye!
See ya.
Goodbye, you good people.